Good to see you, everyone. My name is Robbie Hell, and welcome to the first ever recorded Enclave progress report. We've been doing these monthly for, a couple months now, since maybe the beginning of the year. And with campaign season now upon us, it is time for us to dive into more depth and also get these recorded and put them onto YouTube so that people who can't make them can still see what is going on with Enclave. And today we have some big announcements. The first one is the pre-launch page. The Kickstarter pre-launch page is now live. And I think, personally, it looks pretty freaking awesome. So the reason this is relevant is, for one, I would very dearly, hey, that's my killer Sudoku website. We're not going there. The reason that this is the case is, first of all, because now we can blast the link everywhere and people can see what it's like. But and you can hit notify me on launch. Do all that, please, if you wouldn't mind. That would be grand. But more notably, this has now the ability to show information about the game before the frickin' campaign launches. I cannot tell you how annoying it was that Kickstarter did not let you do this until, I believe, last year. And so I actually have a whole bunch of stuff here that people can actually research about the game before they even hit the notify me on the launch button. I have all of our links. I have all of our information. I have even quotes from some of you guys, player testimonials. And so I think that it's going to be overall pretty compelling. And if you wouldn't mind blasting it the hell everywhere, I would be wildly grateful. I'm going to have various links, including one that I'm going to be putting around on the Discord server for people who are in the community. And so I may ask that if you could share like a different link with people, that would be awesome, but I don't honestly care all that much. So we will get to that when we get to that, but here it is. And if you could hit notify me on launch, that would be phenomenal. So that is the first order of business. This is one of the big things that I've been doing this month, is getting this thing online. And how about that art, eh? Wait, I've shown it before, but I just absolutely love that piece. Okay, so that's the first order of business for today, is that pre-launch page. And I honestly cannot emphasize how much bloody time that took. But along similar lines, campaign season is fast approaching. And because of that, it is time for the necessary evil of advertising. My least favorite, but something that I'm going to have to get good at in order for Enclave to succeed. And so because of that, we have two other things. Now, these links may not work, but they might. I'm hoping they do, and we'll post them later on as well. Enclave now has a Facebook and an Instagram page. There's the one, and there's the two. I do not like using social media, and I will probably not be super duper active on them, but I do hope to post things on them semi-regularly, including some maybe exclusive teasers here or there. So just as like a light incentive. The main thing, though, is if you wouldn't mind following those buggers, that would be great. Reason being is that Facebook and Instagram will actively go out of their ways to not really like take you as seriously in advertising if you do not have like not a lot of followers. It's like 50 or something, I think, is the threshold they look for. But fortunately, my Instagram already has a good amount because I just repurposed an old one that I had. So in summary, once again, if you wouldn't mind humoring me and following the Facebook and Instagram, that would be awesome. It'll help the advertising effort. That is another thing that I have been doing this month. Now, with all of the boring stuff out of the way, pre-launch page is awesome, but social media, not so much for me, at least. Other things of note for those who have not yet seen them. Now, these have been about, so they're not going to be huge news for necessarily everyone, but it'll be the first time I get to show them recorded. We did a whole bunch of merch tests. This was for the Mox event earlier this month, and I do still have some sitting around. They are tests for the stuff that I'm going to put as add-ons for the Kickstarter, and just kind of a dry run to see how I could do with demand coming in. And I'm quite happy with how they came out overall. As an example, Mig. Yeah. But that's only the one. We have a couple of those. One of my favorites are these slick-ass slate coasters that are laser etched. And I made this simplified version of the logo specifically because it looks like way better than just trying to stick the raw badge on it. We have mouse pads as well. There's going to be a better printing machine coming in soon that I'll be able to test those on in a more substantive way. And, one second, I'm going to take out my earbuds. We also have quite a few different posters now available. I did test prints for all of the classes, plus the 2 covers, and many of them already are gone. So I'll just show you the ones that are lingering. And again, these are stuff I made myself, so they came out quite well, I would say. Yeah. I like how the Enclave is flipped, but just imagine it was facing the correct direction.
I have my framed one if you want to see.
Wanderer came out really well. They all came out really well. I was really happy with it. And so in summary, this is tangible evidence that the planned printing process for merch is going to work quite well. Now, mailing them may end up being a little bit of a bastard, but I'm hoping that we can get a process down that isn't too bad. And with the merch being printed mostly at expense of my time, I'm hoping I can get it cheaper than you'll find in a lot of other campaigns for its quality at the very least. Okay, let's see. So we have merch tests, Facebook and Instagram. Of course, the pre-launch page, the most important thing, the pre-launch page. But now another thing as well. We have something that I didn't really know until Julian told me about it. Was an important thing for tabletop role-playing games. We have a QuickStart. Now, what the heck is a QuickStart? A QuickStart is a hyper-simplified version of a tabletop rule set that you make available for free, and you can print out or take to events or whatever the hell. And so this is a literal 1-page rule set for Enclave, plus 1 page of pre-made characters. I personally don't like pre-mades, but you know what? It's important for this, of course. We understand that. And then a 1-page pre-made mission, just simplifying the pre-con we already have in the book. So that is a 3-page quick start. Industry standard, from what I looked up, was like 20 to 30 pages, some as high as 50. And so I will call that a frickin' win. Thank you very much. And not only that, it's now completely free and available through the pre-launch page. If you ever have, I'll try to make it available on the server as well. If you ever have someone who's like, oh, well, can I just get like a simple version of this? Just send them this. You can print this out. You can share it everywhere. I do not care what happens to this. And I'm going to try to make like a pretty version of this as well that has like art and stuff to it, but is still very short. Having a plain text version was very important, however, because this way it makes it wildly easy to print. You know, imagine printing out like full art pages. That's just demanding on printering. So this is nice and simple, and you can just leave it around, put it anywhere you want. So that's another thing that has happened this month. God, there's been a lot of things that have happened this month, and that's not even getting into all the events and the stuff and the upcoming issue of Ping Out and all these things. Now, next thing. The reason we now have a quick start and didn't previously is I was waiting to pretty much finalize the first third of Advent V2, namely everything before the classes. So the world building fundamentals preface, right? And I'm very glad to report that though it's taken longer than anticipated, not because the editors, because me, I've been slow because it's been a lot to do, we are now about a third of the way done officially with editing Advent V2. That was needed in order to put the quick start out because I wanted to make sure that the wording was consistent across Advent V2 and the quick start, and the quick start doesn't use anything after the first like 10 pages of Advent. So that means that in July, I'm pretty locked in on saying that V2 edits will be done, and it will be in a state where it can be put out for lesser review to some other eyes. And also we can start getting maybe a professional copy editor to look at it, maybe. I mean, you guys have been really good for editing, so I might not need it, but maybe good to get eyes on it. And also, more importantly, I can start doing layouts, and I can start actually putting the graphic design together, which is going to be very important. More information on graphic design will be coming up shortly. So that's what's been going on with V2. It's now at a state where, and I will say, there's some like pretty chunky edits to V2 that are quite different from the errata. But overall, I've been really happy with the changes made. It's helped fix some of the lingering problems I had with the errata, and also have done a really good job of better wording and presenting certain consistent parts of the game that we do all the time anyways, but haven't really been put to words very well. So that's the next piece of news. Next piece of news is Aspirant Edition. I am very pleased to say that we had a major breakthrough in Aspirant, in that I finished the entirety of a skeleton of the whole Aspirant rule set minus classes. Now, admittedly, minus classes is like a pretty big deal, but even so, this skeleton is 54 pages long, and is probably going to end up being double to maybe not quite triple that length. So, and given that this is in plain text, and plain text is always bigger in terms of total page count than when I shrink it down and I implement it, that means that my current estimate for Aspirant's length is about 180 pages long. Current guess. Might be wrong. That's what I'm going for. So I think we're going to be under 200, which in my eyes is a win. Cheaper to print, cheaper for everyone involved. It's also looking like, as a brief side note, the hardcover prints for both Advent and Aspirant seem to be a go. What I may do, though, is I may, if we hit like a certain stretch goal, unlock soft cover options for everyone involved. Reason being, why am I doing it that way? Reason being, printing is really expensive, and I don't want to have to commit to both a soft and a hardcover run. But if the campaign is doing staggeringly well, then I'll have the spare expenses to do both soft and hardcover runs. So the current plan is baseline hardcover, and then if there's a ton of interest, we also unlock softcover. That's what I'm hoping for, at least. Now, I won't just say, oh, the skeleton is done and leave it at that. I'd like to give you guys some highlights of things that I have actually are as of now, very likely to appear in Aspirant. Now, I should preface those with blah, 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 everything's subject to change, it's early in development, editing, da-da-da-da-da-da. And the exact way that these things precisely manifest in game is particularly subject to change. But I am quite confident that most of these will be getting in very similar state to how they're looking. So I'd like to... I'll reiterate a couple of things that many of you will already know, and then I'll say some new stuff. So for those of you who do not know, Aspirant is going to be featuring a couple of absolutely colossal changes. One of them being to class gear, which are going to be renamed. I'll keep that a secret for now. I'll keep calling it class gear for the moment. Class gear, not only will now each class have 12 pieces of completely or largely unique gear. I mean, there's going to be some crossover, but not going to be too much, especially at first. Not only will class gear be better described, so instead of class gear being like 2 sentences, it will instead be presented more like miniature abilities. So they'll have little bullet points, and they'll be more informative and better structured. So that's one. Class will get more gear. There is no longer default and elective gear. When you create a character, you can choose anything, which is nice. You start with like a flat amount of mercs when you create a character, which I think will be very fun and much better for character creation. But also, gear is going to get a couple of new things that you can do with it. For example, mods are like perks for gear, which allow you to boost up gear in minor ways. And then enchantments are major new components of gear that you can pay to unlock and then pay extra to customize, and this is through mercs. So in summary, gear will become wildly customizable, and like get quite a lot more power, but they will be very expensive mercs-wise, meaning that when you are developing a character, you have to make a conscious decision of, do I want to commit to certain items more than others? Do I want to round out a build and then start hard focusing? That sort of thing, which I think will be really fun. So that's one big change. And again, I think a lot of this is going to be stuff you already know. Another one is advanced abilities. So all classes will not only have 3 abilities, they will have 6. But 3 of those, the advanced abilities, will be ones that you have to unlock by spending perks. So instead of spending a perk to improve an existing ability, you can spend 2 perks to unlock a new one, an advanced ability, which tend to be more powerful but more niche. Additionally, we are going to be implementing getting abilities off of other classes. And all it will take is perks, and you have to spend more perks to get abilities off of other classes. Same way that gear off of other classes is more expensive than off of yours. Same exact principle. So not only do you have advanced abilities for every class, but also every class can get abilities off of any other class, including advanceds. So it will make it so that the pretty substantial build variety we already have within the relatively confined framework of Advent is just going to explode. There's going to be virtually limitless builds, even within just the base 12 classes. Another major change that is going to be coming to the game, again, you guys know most of these, I'm imagining, but just to reiterate, is difficulty and danger. Difficulty and danger means that when a playgroup is setting up a mission, in addition to focus words, if the players and Conduit are all on board, the players have to be the ones to initiate, and the Conduit can say yay or nay, you can choose to set the mission's difficulty or danger or both higher. This means that the Conduit, say you have like a higher danger value, they will go out of their way to make a mission that they think is more likely to hurt or kill you. They're still going to be rooting for you, but they'll give you fewer outs. So it's actively going to be a way harder experience. But if you can succeed, you get multiple mercs. And that's a big deal. It makes so that you can accelerate your builds. But also, it's risky. It's like substantially risky. And then with difficulty as well, you can set it higher, but the Conduit is designing a mission, they think you are more likely to fail. And if you fail the mission, you get nothing. So it just makes it more, it's more risk, it's more fun for people who want it. It is entirely optional. And I'm going to be emphasizing that, including for Conduits, it's optional. As a Conduit, it can be kind of nerve-wracking, being like, I don't know if I want to like kill someone's character. I'm not sure I'm ready for that. That's fine. Don't. So that's a big part of it. But still, having it as an option, really fun part of the game. You can do some really sick stuff. To give you like a rough idea of the litmus tests that I use for difficulty, for example. In difficulty and danger, you can have 2 different levels beyond baseline. You have baseline, critical, and crisis. And so if you are the average mission, like baseline mission, in the way I host and the way I'm going to like loosely suggest, but everyone's going to have their own numbers, I'd say about 1 in 10 missions I host is a failure, roughly speaking, at baseline. In terms of the squad fails the mission, even though that can still be really fun. For difficulty critical, the goal, or like the kind of loose target that I'm going to suggest to people is that something like every other mission is a failure, like 1 in 2. And if you're consistently having your critical missions succeeded, maybe make them a little harder, you know? Then for a crisis, difficulty crisis, the target number is like 1 in 10. Not 1 in 10 fail, 1 in 10 succeed. So you're going out of your way to be exceptionally challenging designs. But in return, players get a ton of mercs. Not so much that it's like mathematically always worth it. That's something that's very important to me, but still fun and exciting and cool. So pardon me, big difficulty danger thing aside, flavor will be a thing as well. The idea being that out of game creative work can result in tangible in-game benefits. Flavor is optional, but allows the goal with flavor is to allow you to break some rules of the game out of game. So when you are creating or adjusting a character, flavor is what gives you license to do that effectively. That said, if you do something like absolutely crazy with flavor, you do something massive, it can actually count for full mission credits, similar to Conduit credits. We're going to try to make it, it's hard to do this because obviously it's creative work, so it's hard to set the line, right? But I think it's going to be largely a sniff test thing, and in my experience in the past, it's been mostly good. But the goal will be that it should never be more efficient to write flavor to level a character than to actually play the bloody game. It should be like an awesome supplemental thing that if you are a wildly creative person, you can get like a lot out of and can be a great channel for your energies. But I want to really make sure that flavor is never mandatory, even if it's fun and awesome. It's just not for everyone. Now, that's all old stuff. We know about most of those things. I've shared them in previous progress reports. I just wanted to reiterate those for those who might be finding this new. However, there's 2 new mechanics that I've never shared before. Well, I may have shared with a few of you, but very rarely shared, that I want to mention to you. One of them is called Scars. And the Scar mechanic is as such. It is an alternative to flavor, where on mission, if your character takes a bad wound, or they lose an item, or they have a psychological trauma or something, and you commit to the Enclave not being able to fix them, they take a permanent downside that changes their appearance and the way they are, you can get flavor credit for it, which means you can do things like, reassign a stat plus, change a personality trait, shift up one of your perks, things like that. So it's a way to get these sort of these respecs, so to speak, without writing flavor if you're not a flavor person. Or to get more importantly, if you have something happen to your character and you're like, oh, it would tell such a good story, or it would be so cool if they were like more permanently affected by this. This gives you not only like a reason that you can do it, but also just reminds people that it can be done. This is also a great way to do like, oh man, I've not gotten any use out of this item that I thought I would like. I know, this cool thing has happened on mission. I'm going to sacrifice this item to do something sick, and then that can like justify a respec of some kind. So obviously there's going to be a lot of ways to do it and ways to implement it, but and the wording's going to be tricky, but I'm very confident it's going to be in the game in some capacity. Another cool thing about this is it means that if you have a companion type gear piece and that companion dies, you obviously get a new one, but it's not the same. And so if you want to have your character be like, no, I'm not getting another, I don't know, horse or something, I'm going to take the Scar for my character losing this warhorse permanently, but getting some other benefit for it, like a permanent respec. So that is the idea behind it. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you, a completely new mechanic that's going to be coming in, though it's something that I bet a lot of you kind of already do, which is a good example of why it's becoming an official mechanic, is currently titled Fizzling. May change the name, feels okay for now. And so what fizzling is when you, it applies mostly to stats, but you can do it for other stuff too. It's just like mostly a stat thing. Fizzling is when you deliberately narrate one of your own actions failing in a substantial and consequential manner, and you are the one controlling how it fails. Conduit can adjust that. But if you go out of your way to fizzle, it is a signal to the conduit, I'm banking up goodwill with you for a future swing situation. And so effectively the idea with fizzling is if you see a reason to tell like a storytelling reason or like a logic reason why your character, I gotta try this, but it really shouldn't work. I know, I will literally narrate it sucking and like going horribly wrong so that the conduit's like, oh, nice. You completely acknowledged like what's going on here. And because of that, I'm going to do you a solid in a future swing situation. That is the idea with fizzling. It will, again, the main thing is for stats, but it can be used on other things too. The big one that I would say is interesting with fizzling is not only things like luck, like negative luck pitching yourself, for example, but also doing things like, let's say, an intelligence-based fizzle on an inference. They literally, like you say, okay, this is my inference. It is wrong. I know it is wrong. My character thinks it's right. That's the fizzle. So they're going off of bad information. And I could see certain characters ending up having a fizzle heavy or fizzle light playstyle. Because again, optional, purely freaking optional, but a fun and unique tool that I think helps set Enclave apart and will make players be able to engage with it in more varied and fun ways. I also just like the word fizzle, so that may end up staying for that reason. So yeah, those are two new mechanics, Scars and Fizzling, that are going to be completely new to Aspirant and that I have not broadly shared before. Okay, so let's see what's next. Yeah, we're going to do that next. Art time. You guys ready for art time? We are going to do a few pieces of art spoilage, specifically some class art spoilers. Reason being is that with my artist, Greg, right now, given that I need to do layouts still and he needs layouts to get a lot of the art done, I've been giving him some like backlog pieces. And one of those, or 4 of those rather, happen to be stretch goal classes. So we actually are going to be able to see what the art for 4 classes in the stretch goals is going to look like before they are even released. Okay, so here, I'll do my little screen share thing. Here's the Voidwalker. This is one of my favorite pieces he has done. I think it's sick. Voidwalker is obviously the winner of the stretch goal poll, so this is the most likely one to actually get into the game. With like one exception, all of these 4 pieces are very high ranking in that regard. Take a look at that color palette, eh? Oh, I absolutely love it. Next one, I think it's this one. Tessernaut. Tessernaut is our 2nd place stretch goal class. And this is what Greg came to with it. I am really pleased with it. I think it's fun and like colorful and poppy and has a very different feel and tone to what we have before. When I was trying to explain what a Tessernaut is to Greg, he was like, I don't understand. Just like, don't explain what it does. Just explain what it is. So I had to figure that out. But I'm really happy with how this came out. I think it matches the tone of the class really nicely. Next, Spectre. This is another one I'm thrilled with. It's going to be our first truly future sci-fi class. And the Tessernaut also is kind of sci-fi, but the Spectre far, far more so. And so we get to see not only a nice moody color palette, but also Greg drawing sick guns. Spectre is 3rd place in our stretch goal poll. And so I think it's pretty likely it'll make it in. And I'm really happy with how it came out. And lastly, Woodwoes. Now, why the heck is the Woodwoes here with all of the others? Reason being is that when I first commissioned this, the Woodwoes looked like it was in 3rd. And then it dropped to 7th. So this still has a chance of getting in, decent chance of getting in, but it has less of a chance than the others. I really love how this one came out. In fact, I think this might be my favorite of them, just in terms of like my personal taste. I think it came out gorgeous. So that is 4 pieces of art that I wanted to share with you all. Now, additionally to that, something else that I want to share with you is this. All right. With my conversation with my friend Michael Squid, who is helping us with our trailer. This is the 3D animation rig, some progress on it, that we are going to be using in the Enclave trailer. It is fully functional, and it is based on the mission Talons in the Dark, and he has a video test for it too. Now, this is again in rough state, but it is going to look sick, and it's going to be alongside us live on camera. Take a look at this. Doesn't have any sound. Oh, fuck, it does have sound. Jesus Christ. Didn't expect that. Just like, look at this thing moving around. It looks so sick. So I am absolutely delighted with how that is coming out. And so we have all of that art, all of those teasers, all of that spoilage, and all of that happened this month. And next month's going to be even busier. And so with Art Spoiled, Prelaunch Page, Facebook and Insta, Merch Desk, QuickStart, V2 Progress, Aspirant Skeleton, New Aspirant Mechanics, all that, that's the main stuff I wanted to share with you guys. So, while we are going to go a little further, because I want to make sure we have time for Q&A if you have any questions. If you guys have questions about upcoming Enclave stuff, I may have to say I cannot share that at this time. Please fire away. We'll take a couple of them, and then if we have time towards the very end to make sure this video doesn't run a billion years, I may do some class spoilers, maybe. So yeah, Mal, you have a thing.
Who are the lovely actors that might be in this commercial, and where can we, not only the actors, but the people producing this, and where can we find those people?
This
Not
is
like
something that
like-
I am going to be keeping under my hat just for now, but it will be widely broadcast based on their comfort levels once the shoot is done.
What about the wonderful people who did the special effects?
That is another thing that I will be largely broadcasting when it's done, besides Michael Squid, who's doing most of it himself.
That's what I was getting at.
Oh, I think, pardon me. Yeah, Michael, I think I shared his stuff around, but I will do so again. I just want to make sure that I check with him and see what he is up for and what he wants me to share. Because I don't want to just like throw a link to his website and then have him be like, no, it looks like shit right now. Let me fix it first. So yes, I will be blasting those every which way based on what people ask and request of me to do once I have more information. And probably before the shoot, it's like the trailer itself drops, probably sometime in July. Sounds good? Excellent. Other questions? You guys have any random Q&A for me about stuff?
No, it can't just all be me.
Have you been taking care of yourself throughout this entire process, Ravi?
No.
Also, can you
Yes.
repeat everything you've been saying from 1 p.m. to 2:28 because I just joined?
Well, the big one is
Is
a
this
pre-launch
recorded?
page.
I remember there being asked for this to be recorded.
It's recorded.
Yep, it's recorded.
Okay.
And also pre-launch page. That's the big one. I'm going to be blasting out the link shortly, and so share that with people. That's the big takeaway. Plus, there's Facebook and Insta if you want to follow that. Whatever.
Links in the
is that a
chat. Everyone
visitor?
spam everyone you know.
Am I getting visited in the midst of progress?
Baby,
Oh,
baby,
God.
baby, hi, Leo!
Not in here, sorry.
No, it is not in here. I will help you find your phone after I'm done.
True love.
Okay, so what the heck was I saying? Yeah, so big takeaways from before now is pre-launch page, and then Facebook and Insta to help boost ad relevance. I will put out those links shortly. Other questions, if you guys have any general questions based on what has been happening this month or besides. Nice.
With all that busyness, are you still expecting to put out a newsletter or nah?
Yes, newsletter is coming out in 2 days, most likely.
Hell yeah.
I have some cool stuff for it, and it's also a good way of reminding people to do all the things that I've been mentioning today, like the pre-launch page and the like. And to answer your question, yes, I've been doing quite well. I've had plenty of help, and my wife has been fantastic as always. So thank you for asking.
The outreach for influencers and such, I know was big, but mostly, how much are we going to force Dippy to put this everywhere? Because I intend to force him to do it.
Well, I'd say the decisions made by each and every one of you are entirely your own. I will pressure you only insofar as you explicitly say you're willing to be pressured. That said,
I explicitly say that I'm willing to be pressured.
the main thing I'm working on for advertising is using the wildly clunky, but I've been told by many reliable sources is best in the industry meta ad services, which suck. They're awful to use, but I'm told on very good source that they have the best returns of any advertising platform in the industry. So that is what I'm going to be primarily using. Maybe reaching out to some people who I have some amount of goodwill with, but I am going to be doing less stuff with paid influencer promotion than I did last time. Mostly because the returns aren't typically very good compared to what you get with other advertising platforms. I may do some, but it would probably be with people I already know and already like.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and other questions, if you have any. Good. In that case, I say we round things out with my favorite spoilers. Let's do some class spoilers. Okay, so let me get up my little document. I'm not gonna show it because I don't want to commit to showing these just yet, but I am happy to Q&A off some stuff, especially because one of the things I've been trying to work on recently have been things like enchantments, which are pretty complicated, but also advanced abilities and expanded class gear. So we have quite a few options. I'm getting more and more confident with them. And so I will, again, remember all of this is subject to change, but I'm reasonably confident in just about all of it. Actually, that's a good question before I dive in. When do we get an Enclave server tag? I could technically do it now. I don't really understand the Discord boosting system, but I feel like, what would you guys want more? A server tag or the ability to, like, get the 3rd level nitro thing? I don't fucking understand this shit. It's like battle passes. People say the word battle pass. I don't understand what it means. It's just like, all right, something people largely hate. But it seems like this is like pretty well liked. So if you guys want me to do server tag rather than save up for Nitro 3, then we can do it.
We currently have enough boosts to have level 2, which we currently have, and also a server tag. I believe that if we get more boosts enough to get to level 3, then you can move them off the server tag to level 3. So there's no reason not to set one up right now.
Oh, okay, that's a cool idea. I'll put that down. Thank you. Soyvoy tag. Yeah, awesome. Nice. Okay, excellent. Other random questions before we do some class spoilers.
What's the new emote, Robbie?
Is Warhorf.
Are there any new ones upcoming?
There's Warhorf, and that's the main new one. It's going to be in the next newsletter. It's a good one. It's a really good one.
Y'all are welcome.
Yes.
Well, actually, Robbie's the one who said it.
I really wanted it, so thank you, Mel. I loved that one. Okay, name me a class, and I will name you something cool about that class plan for Aspirant.
Roadhog.
Free runner.
Free runner. Okay. Roadhog I could give. I'll give one on the Roadhog too, because I actually have done stuff on that. The stretch goal ones are not nearly as fleshed out. Some of them I barely even started working on. But I may as well start with the free runner. Where are you? There you are. Okay. I've told a few things about them in the past that I quite like. As an example, they're going to be getting an advanced ability called Floor is Lava. And I will not elaborate on that whatsoever. I am also considering another advanced ability for them that will either be called Footstool or Dive Kick, which has the expected cultural connotations to it. And it should be a very fun, dynamic movement and combat ability. Then I've also mentioned that they're going to be getting a new piece of class gear called a stencil, like a graffiti stencil. They can just put up and like it puts like a little tag somewhere, and then as you spread your tags around an area, it gives you benefits. The only one that I don't think I've mentioned to anyone yet that I've locked in for them recently is a new piece of class gear called a hover platform, which is a little disc that you like literally place it in midair. It expands, it hovers in midair for a low duration, and then you can like use it to get places. And you can even, maybe we'll have a thing where you can reuse them, but I'm not sure about that. So I think that'll be a fun dynamic movement option for a class gear piece that I could see other classes really liking too. Then, let's see. Oh my goodness, I hate when I can't see my mouse. All right, Roadhog, I'll give one on that as well. I think the working title that I had for it was Collision Course, I believe. And the idea with Collision Course is it is an ability that you use when you are operating a vehicle, and it supercharges that vehicle forwards and turns it into a projectile with yourself inside it, while improbably making it so that you aren't too badly hurt and it can still drive after it hits. So you are launching cars at people, and you can bail as well. So I think I might have a thing where if you bail, the vehicle is very likely to explode, but will have like harder impact or something. I think that'll be really fun. Other class, throw me a class, either in chat or voice. Spectre, nice. Yeah, I think I have something cool for them. I have a couple of cool ones for them. One, they are going to be getting a committed laser rifle style gear piece, which I think is going to be fun and cool. But the other one is, I'm going to have to figure out how to balance the thing, but I am definitely giving them a cloaking device. And so for all the people who have desperately wanted cloaking devices for quite a long time, I think that one will be very, very well liked. Yeah, is there any others that I really am committed to right now? Besides the teaser that I gave, the extra sensory array, I think that's all I can really... Oh, one more. They're going to get jump jets, almost certainly. Okay, another class.
Samaritan.
Samaritan. Nice. Let me roll down to him. Yes, that one's going to be fun. Sure, we have that. Okay, so there's a few options that we have for the Samaritan. The one that they're like I'm a little loose on, but I have some ideas. The big one that I really want to do for them is an advanced ability called Holier Than Thou, which is a reverse extol virtue where you condemn someone else's lack of virtue by comparing them to yourself or someone else, which can either shame them into stopping what you don't like or initiate a turning point in the target to actually get them on side. So it is an optional forced turning point that you can compel on another character, especially NPCs. I think that'll be quite fun. Yeah, you can defy it, for the record. You can absolutely defy it. Yeah, the optional part being that you don't have to mandate the turning point, or you don't have to compel the turning point, but once you do, people have to like break through it. Or find a way to like avoid the turning point, so to speak. Okay, and then what's another one? Ooh, that one could... I'll say this one, even though it may not work out. I'm planning on giving them a gear piece called a sick bed, which is kind of like a stretcher that you can put a hurt person in. It will work to stabilize and heal them and protect them from ambient threats, but it will knock them out. So you are putting someone in like a little safe pod. Okay, that's what I got for now. Any other classes? Give me another class. I know you have them.
Warhorse.
Warhorf is not a class, but the Thane is, so I'll take it as a Thane. Thane, I've actually shared quite a few for, but I have some other cool ones too that I think could be quite fun. Okay, this one's a big maybe. So I'll tell you one that's like a work in progress, and we'll see if it works out. I'm considering giving them an advanced ability called Hiriot. Hiriot means that when an ally dies, doesn't have to be a agent. When an ally dies, Hiriot lets you recover their gear in full and infuse it with powerful magical properties, and let someone else use it. And you can do it en masse too, which I think would be quite fun. So that it's the way I would describe it is it would work kind of like the Bogatir's friend in need. But it can be mass targeted, and it has a kind of tougher entry clause because it requires an ally to die. So I think that'll be really fun. And let's see, other things that are cool for them. I've talked about so many things that are cool for them already. I guess one that I haven't done for them yet is I'm planning on giving them a class gear piece, which is a dirk, like a long combat knife. The thing that I'm going to do with the dirk is that it is an oath-swearing knife, where you can swear an oath to another person over your dirk, and the person who you are swearing it to will trust you to fulfill it. And if you don't, the dirk will take its revenge upon you. So it's going to be a heavy energy work and magic implication oath knife that I think will be quite fun. Okay. Jinian said librarian. Let's do librarian. Okay. So librarian has gone through a couple of big changes, but I have some things that I'm pretty confident in. The big one that I've already mentioned story time, which is the one where you can like unleash a book effectively on the world. The ones that I'm most interested in right now, though, this one I'm quite confident I can make work, but it'll take a little bit, is one called Heads Together. And heads together allow you as players to issue each other insights. And the insights are taken, and all the conduit does is if an insight is like wildly off base, the conduit can say no. And other than that, you just give each other insights. And so it's like a kind of a mass fun fact. But you have to be like rapidly collaborating with each other. You know, the characters have to be talking aloud and like trying to brainstorm and solve this problem. Another thing that I think will be, it's a huddle. Another thing that I think will be quite fun, I've talked about the intern, which I think is going to be quite liked. I am going to give them a pointer, you know, like one of those like teacher pointers from back in the day. Not sure what that's going to do yet. I'm going to give them a stamp, like an official stamp. Again, not entirely sure what it's going to do. Something, something, oath, something, something, I don't know. The thing that I am most interested in, though, is I'm trying to make this gear piece work, and it's going to be called Office Assistant. And an office assistant isn't a person. It is a cute little thing, like a little guy, who's a helper around the library that just like speaks in squeaks and is like cute but kind of useless for anything besides helping you find information. But the thing that I know I want to do, the fucking rat spam. The thing I know what I want to do is I know the name of the enchantment, though I could not tell you what the enchantment will do yet. The enchantment's name is going to be Clippy. And that should emphasize what my goal was in creating this gear piece. So that's an office assistant is a person. In the context of Enclave, for this particular gear piece, thank you very much, Mel. Other classes you guys want to hear about?
PCCs.
Duh. So I can give you a loose overview to how the PCC thing will work. I think it is going to be messy, but I think I have an idea of how to do it. So here's the idea, right? We're still going to be releasing PCCs as much as we can during and like immediately after the campaign, even if it's kind of like an awkward transitional phase. But what we're going to be doing is all existing PCCs, I'm going to be working with the creators to try to get aspirant versions about them. And what we will do is Enclave Day rewards will not only be just an Advent version of a class, but you can either get an Advent version of a class or unlock the Aspirant version of a class you already have. Why do it that way? Well, because Aspirant classes are much longer. They're a lot more work. And it feels like it would make sense that if we're giving these things out for free, then you should get them in increments, given that an Advent level class is cross-compatible with Aspirant. You won't get the advanced abilities, you'll miss on about half the gear roster, and you won't have things like a default enchantment, but it still is completely playable. So we're still going to be releasing Advent level PCCs, at least at first, with the idea to then upgrade to Advent and Aspirant level PCCs. And then when we start putting out PCC bundles, those will all be Aspirant level, and people will also be able to get them piece by piece by piece for free. So that is the current plan. It's a little messy. Might come up with a better idea, but I think it's reasonably good as of now. Other questions? Or rather, other classes, if you have any that you want to hear about. Nice.
Swashbuckler.
Oh, Swashbuckler? Nice. Yeah, I can give you a little bit on them. Where are my notes on them? Okay. Not sure I can find my notes, but that's fine. I did have a couple of ideas for them that I can quote from memory. One is, I believe I mentioned, what was the spoiler for them? Did I spoil Dangerous Game? Was that the one I spoiled? I think it was. So yeah, the idea is that the spoiler I gave was for Dangerous Game, which allows you to incur a downside and then reveal it to get a benefit. And so the idea is, I'm not left-handed. It's that, right? But there's other ways of implementing it. Another Swashbuckler ability that I'm quite confident in is I want to give them a play on familiar face, but it is specifically for enemies. It is like an old enemy resurfacing, but with additional implications and benefits. That's something I definitely want to give to them. Another thing that I want to give to them is I'd really like to give them a tricorn hat that somehow always finds its way back to the user. I think that could be quite fun, and as a reference to the Pirates franchise. So I think that the Swashbuckler is going to be a class that doesn't write itself, but it's going to be a pretty easy one to implement at a guess. But yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. Let's see, is there any other thing I could give off the top of my head? Well, they're definitely getting flintlocks. I'm just not sure what it'll do yet. I don't know. Oh, well, I had like a loose idea for a flintlock gun that if you... There's going to be like some sort of probably social combat like initiation. So like if you shoot someone and you like express consternation that they haven't died, you can pull out an exact replica of that same flintlock and shoot them again, and I may let it chain. So so that's something I'm considering doing. But I want to make sure that even though the Swashbuckler is going to be like heavily pirate inspired, it is not like a pirate class. It just happens that a lot of pirates are swashbucklers. But like the Three Musketeers, for example, are swashbucklers. As is, of course, Wesley from The Princess Bride. Though he moonlit as a pirate, we shall say. Other classes that you would like, spoilies on.
Do the spoilers have to be limited to classes?
Well, let's fire away. Let's hear it.
It was mentioned that in Aspirant there will be a little bit more world building. Can you give us a little peek into that?
Okay, fine. I can do that. I do actually have an entire section in Aspirant called Expanded World Building. And
yes, please tell us all of that.
Yes, everything.
I shan't yet.
In detail.
It takes up about 10% of the skeleton, which means that in the book, I'm guessing it'll end up being like 8-9 pages long-ish, something like that.
Oh, the Robbie, now read it out.
I'll give you some high points for it. How's that?
Stream it.
For one, no, I'm not streaming it. Nice try. One thing I will do is that I'm going to try to see if I can commission like a nice, big, beautiful centerpiece image of like the interior of HQ. That's one thing I want to do. I'm going to be mentioning things like the colonnade and mission archives. And also, you know the joke about people like backseating during a mission with their characters like watching the mission off screen? That's going to be official. I'm calling it the Omnitorium, where agents can go to watch other agents in process. Another thing that I'm going to be talking about is things like how the Enclave world works a little bit, giving a few specific terms to help people describe. For example, instead of saying your own little corner of Manifold, there's a different word for that now. It is called an inchoasis, and I can spell it. Inchoasis. Yep, like that. Inchoasis. And so that way, when you're saying, oh, do you want to have your character come to my world and flavor? You say, oh yeah, come visit my inchoasis. Nice and easy.
Much easier.
Also, I'm going to be giving more clarification to like the agent city that surrounds Enclave HQ for people who want on-site housing, which I have a very cutesy poo name for that I shall keep secret for now because it's kind of cringe.
No!
But I'm going to keep it secret for now. I'm also adding officially contract work to the game, where you can... this is like a flavor thing, pretty much for the most part, but it can also just be a thing that in your mind you say your character is doing, where in addition to missions, agents can be hired for contract work for things like medical, craft services, therapy, building maintenance, tutoring, recruitment, liaising with people out in Manifold. Just make it so that they can do other things besides missions for the Enclave. With the idea being that contract work will not pay mercs.
Okay.
But it's factored into the rest of your like off-screen compensation package. And so if you want to do like, if you want to say, oh, my character wants to be spending their Enclave money as fast as possible. Shit, there's only so much they get off of missions, even though they get like a fucking lot. I know, I'll do contract work. So there's like a lot of fucking Lumen. Nice. Oh, here's another one. There's going to be an entire subsection describing how a player character can hire the Enclave. And so you will be officially able to do that and have it be a request mission that you either host yourself as a conduit or work with a conduit to host, so that you can literally like bring people into your Ink Oasis to do a job for you.
That's cool. I like that.
I'm going to be talking about branch offices, like the little outposts hidden over Manifold. Some mention of how agents can set up branch offices in their own Ink Oasis. I'm going to be talking a little bit about like the passage of time in Manifold, and explicitly stating that every single Ink Oasis can have completely different timelines. Like, one person might age 10 years between missions, another person might be a day. I think that's really important to do. And there's going to be two kind of cardinal rules I'm going to try to boil down to, right? One is purposeful inconsistency. Manifold is unstable on purpose. And the reason that this is important is not only to justify everyone having like a big creative say, but also it helps justify certain game mechanics, even things that might like otherwise break people's like immersion in the game. So it is meant to be purposefully inconsistent. And the other cardinal rule of Enclave world building, this is mostly for flavor, but it's also for missions and things like that. The cardinal rule of the game: do not fuck with the Enclave. Whatever you do on mission or in flavor, you cannot do anything that actually challenges the integrity of the Enclave as an institution. If you want to fuck with the Enclave, make up a branch office and fuck with them. They're contractors. So
okay, that makes it real easy.
Yeah, it's
like
very important that the Enclave cannot be challenged, because the Enclave is what enables the entire structure of the game to work. Now, that said, I'm sure some home group is going to do it, and I don't care, right? Do not care. But for the base game, I need to make sure this is the case, because otherwise, let's just say in the laughable example that a playgroup is like, we beat the Enclave. Ha ha ha. All literally infinite superpowered demigod agents beat them. We win. What happens then? What is the next step in that game? I don't think there is one. And so this is why this is the cardinal rule. You can do anything you want, officially. Unofficially, I don't give a fuck. You can do anything you want besides fuck directly with the Enclave. So that is a nice little summary of what is going to be going into the expanded world building section. And I hope that tickles your fancy, at least for the now.
Yeah, that really does.
Awesome. Other questions?
Speaking of world building, I assume this is going to be expanded in like Ace Edition, or like really far along the line when things are really fleshed out. What is the system of magic that the Enclave universe uses? Because I love the meat of that.
Yeah, so I do plan on discussing that eventually, but something that I'm going to be going out of my way to say is that it is purposefully inconsistent, and everyone should bring their own spin to it. But I can throw down some suggestions and some potential underlying themes and similar. I want to make sure that such things are never prescriptive. Because I think it breaks the game, frankly. Like, if suddenly you say, you know what I mean. So that's a big one. But I do think that it will be fun to give some, like, ideas. And frankly, a lot of the ways that, like, classes work already kind of suggest that magic works in certain ways. So that, in summary, I do plan on it, not in this edition.
Well, no, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting, like, way down the line.
A little down the line,
more. when things will like actually make sense for it to exist.
Mm-hmm. And when people have like a more solid understanding of the kind of terms of engagement of Enclave. Other questions if you guys have them.
Not really for this, but more of a. I've noticed, and I'm sure you have too, that we have a lot of player-created classes that have been. There's like a whole bunch of them. I suspect at some point you probably will have a moratorium of guys. There's way too many of these. Let's get a few of these done first, and then we can do more of them. Because I'm sure you've seen there's so many, and my brain is I can't keep up with them anymore.
Yeah, I think that's something that I do eventually intend on doing is kind of changing up the way that PCCs are officialized. I do like the kind of Wild West of people just making shit That's fun.
Oh, I
really
know.
like that. But
Yeah.
I do intend on making it a little more consistent and down the line. Though that said, if people enjoy PCCs enough and are like wildly okay and up for and interested in them being sold in official supplements for the game, frankly, I could see a day down the line when PCCs are like outnumbering official classes quite substantially.
Yes.
And I think that's fine.
Very much so. Especially the way it is now, because some of the new ones are like, that is wacky, that's amazing, and totally busted, but awesome.
Do you guys have any other questions for me?
One of the things, I really like the artwork. One of the things you should do, this is going to be later down the line, but I want an Enclave t-shirt.
Oh,
T-shirts.
we have them. I'm going to be. We did a test run of them, and there's a new machine coming in to my local makerspace that I'm going to be using to hopefully make them way better. And so I will be doing a re-spoiler of those, you might say, down the line.
Wait, I'm excited because I like t-shirts because it's something you'll wear every day and go, this is awesome.
Yeah,
you know.
Indeed. Other stuff. Anyone else have stuff you want to ask about? On
Berserker.
Oh yeah, Elisa, you said Berserker.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, I can give you tons of Berserker stuff. Funnily enough, the Berserker is one of the classes that I am most done with.
That's good.
So we have a bunch of stuff. I have their advanced abilities all done, and I think I've mentioned most of them. The most interesting one to mention, however, is that you know how on the vessel we have the corruption keyword. That is going to be appearing on other classes besides the vessel, and it's going to be appearing in new capacities. And one of the Berserker advanced abilities explicitly has corruption associated with it.
That makes a lot of sense.
But along those lines as well, we have another couple gear pieces I think could be quite fun to share. We have, for example, the Tarj. So small, round shield, spike in the middle. The idea being that it's a shield that's also good for melee attacks. And will have an effect that allows you to run very fast and have high impact force while using it to charge into combat. Now, to answer your what you were saying there, Meek, the difference is not that it is about putting people into furor, right? The idea with corruption is that it's about emphasizing someone's like worst qualities, and it can be flavored in certain ways. So, for example, the Berserker has an advanced ability that can push someone into a furor, but even after the furor finishes, they are corrupted for the rest of the mission. And it will be like an anger-themed corruption. And so I think that'll be a cool way of doing it. For those who haven't heard it already, I've talked about this one many times, but it's one of my favorite advanced, and it's a good example of like what advanced abilities are going to feel like. Thanatomachy on the Berserker, which allows you to fight death. And again, how this will work is you enter a trance state where you don't see the real world around you. You see like kind of a Twilight version of it, with death made manifest before you as an actual enemy who is themed and flavored around the area and scales in power on how many people are close to death nearby, including yourself. And if you can actually beat death in a fight, you will spare the people who would have died. They'll still be hurt, but they're not going to die. However, death can kill you, and death is very scary. But the best part is, it's an actual fight. It's not like a mind palace thing, right? And so because of that, your allies might see you just getting frickin' ragdolled all over the place by an invisible enemy that no one else can help with. Because Thanatomachy is something that is done entirely you and death. So I think that will be a really, really fun one. Now, before I carry on, any voices I haven't heard from yet in terms of like questions or class spoilers or similar, just to make sure I give people who may not otherwise speak up a chance to.
Do you want to see the framed poster?
Yes, I do want to see the framed poster. Can you show it?
I also want to see it. Yeah.
Merp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks
That
so
looks amazing.
good.
That's a good frame.
Oh
Wow.
yeah. Oh my god.
Wow.
All right. It's the
Because I am
moment
an
you're.
adult and should not have regular posters hanging on my walls.
I disagree with you.
Yeah, Ari, that was from Rags to Ragnarok. You were on that one. Do you remember that one?
Oh, was I?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that
oh
was
yeah,
one
now I
where the-
remember.
When Liv
Lived
was
in a
the-
fighter
That up.
plane.
Yeah, Liv in the fighter
That was
jet.
fun.
Oh, it was sick. It was so
Yeah,
sick.
that was a fun one.
Anyone else who hasn't said anything yet, if you have questions or spoilers you want to hear about, then we'll do one more quick round and then we'll sign off.
Oh, and another thing I want to see in merch, I
real
want to
quick,
see the
before I hear that from you, Ari, just to give other people a chance. If anyone has
Yep.
things, then I want to hear after.
Yep.
Anyone else? Awesome, Ari, fire away.
Okay. Another thing I want to see in merch is the official Enclave pen, or like a fountain pen. Because those are, I know they're dumb, but like they're one of those things you go, ooh, I got an official pen or a fountain pen. Because it's dumb, but it's cool, and it's something you will use every day. Because I like things you'll use every day, because you'll use it and you'll think, I need to play more Enclave. You know.
I will strongly consider it. I haven't, you may have said it before, but I didn't put it on my list, so now I will put it on my list. Because that could be fun. I could, because I use pens a lot. I much prefer taking physical notes.
The other thing about pens is that losing pens is kind of viral marketing.
Very much so.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's accidental marketing. It's why businesses give out pens.
Absolutely.
No.
Final thoughts before we wrap up.
I think I'm good. I'm very excited. So,
Excellent.
do you know what day the Kickstarter is gonna be?
I cannot lock it in with 100% certainty, but I can say with about 90% confidence it is going to be September 25th, which will be exactly Enclave's 12th anniversary. And you guys know
Okay,
how
good,
freaking
'cause
important that is to me. Like
That is very important. Yeah, because I want to know when it is, so I'm like all moneyed up, so I can make sure I get all the extras and goodies. Because
That
I'm
is
excited
very kind of you, man.
for
I
mugs and
appreciate
shit.
it.
Because I want a mug. I love mugs.
Okay. Can I embed a QR code into Enclave stickers so we can spread them? Yeah. I'm not going to say easily, but what I can do is I do intend on making another battery of like leaflets and pamphlets that I've been planning on sticking everywhere. And so stickers possible. It would take extra to print them, but let me put down QR stickers.
Yeah, also a slightly cutesy community board one.
Yeah.
That just like there are just random bulletin boards all over the place, and there are many of us who will print it out and go hide it places.
Yeah, that would be fun. So okay, let me put down flyer and leaflet. I will make those publicly available. Awesome. That's great. In that case, I say it is time to bring the progress report to a close. I'll chill about a little bit after we finish recording, but to wrap up the video for now, thank you guys so much for taking the time. I hope you're excited. I hope you're hyped for the campaign to launch. We are in the beginning of the takeoff phase, and I am really, really confident. Maybe too confident, but I'm really confident. And so thank you guys so much for your wonderful support and helping me get hyped for this. And until our next progress report, my name is Robbie Howell, and ciao for now.